This is what being a NASCAR fan is all about. Singular history and tradition.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. This is so special.
Unmatched on-track intensity.
We gotta go.
And triple-header playoffs action to ratchet up the stakes. Throw in a can't-miss concert, camping, and the legendary atmosphere of Talladega Boulevard. And you've got more than a race. You've got Talladega. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to welcome you to our Tuscaloosa studios as we're only a few weeks away from the start of Crimson Tide football season. But tonight, the start of the athletic year for the University of Alabama is coming up. So we're talking about some football, we're talking about some soccer, and then all things Alabama athletics on this show today. We'll go through everything coming up on the show. Thanks to our friends at RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. They give us a smart board to go through everything coming up, plus our headlines in a very interactive way. We will start by talking with Alabama defensive back Malachi Moore as we just had the first episode of the Countdown series, fall camp for the Crimson Tide presented by Poetry Financial. Malachi will take us inside the episode, and if you haven't watched it yet, the first episode is available on all of our social media platforms with Alabama Athletics. So Malachi Moore will talk about not only that episode, but how fall camp is going for the Crimson Tide. Then we'll be talking soccer with our next two interviews. First of all, we were joined in studio at the Advantage Center by Alabama sophomore Cali Brewer, who did not play last year. And as she works her way back from some injuries, she has a great inspirational story about how she has returned to the pitch. We look forward to visiting with Cali. And then we'll go to the Alabama Soccer Stadium and have a one-on-one conversation with Gianna, one of the top players in the SEC entering the season. Paul hopes to score a lot of goals and, as you'll hear her talk about, play some tough defense for the Crimson Tide this year. Then last night, we had a fun time at Baumhower's Victory Grill here in Tuscaloosa for the first edition of Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show. Coach DeBoer will join us at the restaurant leading up to the Western Kentucky game. But last night, Chris Stewart was joined by Greg Byrne, the Director of Athletics. So we'll give you a sample of what he talked about on the show last night with Chris and our Hey Coach replay. Crimson Tide football, of course, the third week of fall camp. Everybody getting prepared for what's coming up on Saturday for the second scrimmage. You talk to a lot of people around football. It's really this scrimmage that is the key one because next week you're still having a scrimmage. You're still working on some things, but you're almost shifting more into game week prep for Western Kentucky at that point. So this second scrimmage is going to be critical. We'll talk more about that coming up on next week's show. Of course, Coach Saban, all throughout his time, had some great speakers come and visit with the Crimson Tide football team, notably the late Kobe Bryant. But this year, Kalen DeBoer is continuing that tradition as he's had some great speakers as well, including former Alabama Heisman Trophy winner Mark Ingram. And then it was fun to see. We haven't been able to see the video just yet, but Oz the Mentalist was there having some fun with Jalen Milroe and the Crimson Tide full team. So cool to see that on Alabama's social media account, and I can only imagine what they learned. And again, had a little bit of fun. It's a long fall camp. Cool to see that for the Crimson Tide. One final reminder, Hey Coach is on Wednesdays at Baumhower's Victory Grill. We had our first episode last night. 6 p.m. The full show is available to not only watch on the CTSN YouTube page on demand, but the full show in audio form is available on the Alabama Insider podcast. But last night, Chris Stewart was joined by not only Greg Byrne, you'll hear some of that coming up, but also Dan Waters, the track and field coach and cross-country coach for Alabama, as well as Jeff Allen, the head of sports medicine for the Alabama athletic department. So cool episode. Great to have that now on Wednesday nights. Thursday night usually means soccer, and that starts tonight. It starts with the Alabama Crimson Tide beginning this 2024 season as Alabama will be on the road coming up this weekend. A Texas trip for the Crimson Tide. First of all, the Crimson Tide tonight taking on TCU in the season opener, so a great Power 4 matchup right out of the gates for the Crimson Tide against the Horned Frogs. That is at 7 p.m. Also 7 p.m. on Saturday, Alabama will be at North Texas. Always North Texas, one of the great Group of 5 teams in NCAA soccer. So good challenge for the Crimson Tide coming up before next Thursday, a week from today. We will have this home opener for Alabama in Tuscaloosa when the Crimson Tide host North Alabama. Gianna has been named one of the United Soccer Coaches players to watch. Also that honor on the defensive side for Jessica Skorka. You'll hear from her on next week's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Final notes around Crimson Tide athletics. Congratulations to Shelby McEwen. He won the silver medal in the high jump, as Coach Dan Waters talked about last night in the Olympics. Shelby tied for the gold, had the opportunity to try and go for it again, essentially overtime in track and field. Ended up with the silver medal, but we're thrilled for him, thrilled for all the success for all of our Olympians over the last few weeks in Paris. The men's golf team is getting ready for what will be coming up, as their schedule was announced earlier this week. And also, if you'd like to get a specialized tour and a guided tour of Bryant-Denny Stadium, that has returned. More information on that on RolledTide.com. And don't forget, the Countdown Fall Camp with the Crimson Tide series has premiered thanks to our friends at Poetry Financial. And one of the subjects of that first episode is Malachi Moore, defensive back for the Crimson Tide. He joins us this week on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, as part of our Countdown podcast series detailing fall camp here at Alabama.
Go 1-0, focus on the rep that you're on right now. And I think that's been really helping me just be present in the moment and not thinking too far ahead.
Roll Tide and welcome back to Bryant-Denny Stadium. We're inside the Advantage Center at our podcast studios. Roger Hoover, pleased to be joined by Crimson Tide defensive back Malachi Moore as we take a look inside the episode of Countdown Fall Camp with the Crimson Tide, presented by Poetry Financial. And Malachi, Roll Tide, man, it is football camp. You guys are getting ready for the season. How's everything been going here in Tuscaloosa?
Everything's been going good. We're having great practices each and every day, and it's really been fun just going out there, getting ready for the season. Everybody can feel the sense of urgency we're starting to move with as the season gets closer, and it's going to be a fun season.
In this episode, we saw some of the team bonding things you guys have done, starting with kickball. How much fun was that?
It was a lot of fun, and my team made it all the way to the championship. But it was fun, just going out there doing something that we can also compete in. I think that's one of our biggest traits as a team, just this offseason, is how we love to compete in everything we do, from kickball, even if just having a day off and going to play kickball. We still want to win at the end of the day. But those things definitely have been great for us this offseason.
Were you the best on the team, or who were some guys that kind of carried you guys?
I was the all-time pitcher, so I was kind of doing my thing at pitching a little bit. So then nobody else, like, they just said, "Kai, keep going." So I just went with it. But I had Sab on my team. I forgot his name. Coach, the O-line coach. What's his name again?
Kapolovic.
Yes. That's a hard one for me to remember. But yeah, he was our coach though. He did his job, but just came up short. Actually lost to Coach Womack in the championship, man. Yeah.
What's it been like getting to know him and what he wants this defense to be?
It's been good. We have a good relationship. I think he brings a lot of juice and energy to the defensive side of the ball, and he always challenges us to come out there and be our best. And he's gonna hold us to that standard. If we're not performing up to that level, he's gonna make sure we know it, and you don't want it any other way.
Absolutely. And also part of the offseason, and we got to see it in this episode, SEC Media Days in Dallas. How much fun was that?
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. It was just something new environment. Just getting there. When we first got there, like, they took J Mill and T Book to go do like an interview as soon as we got there, but I went to the lounge to go play NCAA. So while they was over there doing that, I'm over there playing the game. But it was cool. Just go out there, talk about our team, represent our team in a fun way. Got me my first cowboy hat. So yeah, it was fun.
There you go. Yeah, this is your only interview you're doing today, but on that day, how many interviews do you feel like you did? 20, 30, 50?
It was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I can't even remember. Like, I don't even think I started to count once we got rolling, but it definitely was like a 3-hour time period of interviews.
Well, that would be good, too, to get to go on that trip special with Coach DeBoer, with Jalen, with Tyler, more bonding opportunities with you guys and the coach, right?
Right, yeah, it was definitely fun. Just, like I said, going to Dallas, speaking highly of our team, representing our team in the right way, and just letting everybody know we're ready to go play some football.
A lot of people, especially with it being in Dallas, do they ask you a lot about Texas and Oklahoma joining the league?
Yes, I did get a lot of that, too. But I just told them that it's great that we have 2 more teams coming in to make the SEC even stronger than it is, and it's gonna be fun. We love and thrive off competition.
Oklahoma is going to be the next to last game of the season right before the Iron Bowl. When you're at preseason camp at this point, are you able to kind of stay in the moment as you hit new milestones? Okay, we just did the first scrimmage. We know we have the next one coming up. How do you stay present and not look too far ahead to games that are coming up down the road in November, or even a playoff run, anything like that?
Right. I think Coach DeBoer has brought something to this organization as far as a mentality standpoint, as in going 1-0. And that's in everything you do, from going 1-0 in this play to meetings to treatment. Always trying to win that rep, win that day, win that meeting, win the position battle or whatever it is. And I just think that's something that stuck with me since he came in, just going 1-0. Like, ever since he came in, I've just been thinking about, like, we got a lot of hard reps in the weight room. Just go 1-0. Focus on the rep that you're on right now. And I think that's been really helping me just be present in the moment and not thinking too far ahead.
Does that help you lead the other guys as well?
Yes, of course. Just being vocal and telling people to just go 1-0. It's about the next play. No matter if you made a pick six or you just got scored on, it's always 1-0, and you only going to be good as your last play, but don't let your last play affect your next play. And I think the guys have really been doing a good job of that.
Midway through fall camp, how is the secondary coming together? Because we know there are a lot of new faces there.
Right. The secondary coming together well. We just got to continue to keep communicating and everybody getting on the same page. At camp is practice and it's meant to be harder than the games. And I just think we're adjusting to it pretty well. And every day we're getting better and better.
You adjusted the morning practices okay?
Yeah, I actually love the morning practices just so I can get it out the way. Like, waking up, I kind of be for about maybe 10 minutes and be like, dang, I got to wake up. But after that, I be up, and it's all about business all the time to go get better.
That's really good to see. So this football team continues getting ready for the season. What's going to be most important in these final few weeks of fall camp, making sure you're ready for when the countdown's over and you're playing Western Kentucky?
Right. I just think the most important thing is for us to go 1-0 each day and continue to get better and never be satisfied. Never be satisfied until we reach the ultimate goal as a team. And as long as we keep that mentality, then hopefully we look up and August 31st, we're out there playing lights out.
We look forward to it. Well, that's part of the countdown of fall camp with the Crimson Tide, presented by Poetry Financial. Malachi Moore, just thank you for your time. Best of luck. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Alabama racing is back. Don't miss the opportunity to experience the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs at Talladega. Witness the return of racing on October 6th and also be part of NASCAR's biggest and baddest track. From the blistering speed on the track to the unparalleled fan access of the Talladega Garage Experience, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Tickets are on sale now. Secure your seats today for the Yellowwood 500 at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. We go from football to soccer on the show. Tonight is opening night for the Alabama soccer team as they're on the road tonight taking on TCU before they face North Texas coming up on Saturday. Then the Crimson Tide will be home upcoming this next Thursday. Alabama will be hosting North Alabama, and one of the faces we hope to see on the field for the Crimson Tide this year is sophomore Cali Brewer. Last week we had her sister, freshman Breezy Brewer, join us to talk about the transition from Southern California living to now here with us in Alabama. And we talk with Cali about her journey to Alabama, plus what it's like to play with her sister Breezy for the Crimson Tide. Here's our one-on-one conversation with Cali Brewer. Roll Tide and welcome back to Bryant-Denny Stadium. We're inside the Advantage Center studio. Roger Hoover now pleased to be joined on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, by Alabama Soccer's Cali Brewer. We got to catch up with her sister Breezy last week, but Cali, it is great to have you here. Roll Tide, how's everything going?
Good, thank you for having me. It's super exciting to have this opportunity to see. But I'm excited.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to the start of soccer season as you get to the first week of August and everything starts to ramp up for the Crimson Tide. I know for you, getting back healthy and getting back on the field is priority number one right now.
Yes, that's right. It's been so fun. It's definitely been quite the journey, just coming back from injury and stuff, but it's been so cool playing soccer and getting fit and practicing with the team and just kind of being in a new role this season. So
it's such a short preseason. It really feels like for soccer compared to some other sports. How do you guys get going in June and July to make sure you're ready for this time of the year?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is our coaches just trusting in us and trusting in our strength and conditioning coach, Derek. He's been awesome. Like the whole summer, he sends us workouts and we're all just able to stay on top of it and train with summer teams and just really take it in. Like, they trust us, we trust in them, so it's like a mutual thing. And then we get here, and like you said, there's really not, we have like a week, and then we play tomorrow against LSU, so it's been crazy but so fun.
It really is good to see. How about the captains' practices? How intense do those get?
Yeah, those are super intense. The captains, we do a great job of like organizing and playing in a high intense environment. I think that's one thing that our team really like. What's the word?
Yeah.
We like. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You go.
No, but we pride ourselves in like having a high intense working environment, and like practices are just as hard as a game, if not harder. So,
Who would you say are some of the early leaders on this team?
definitely Hendo. Hendo has been an amazing leader. She's been here for, I think it's her 5th year now. So just having her leadership and experience on the team is amazing, and we all look up to her. We have Brooke and Jess also have been here for a while, and their personalities, like, they all go well together. So it's been awesome.
That's really good to see. And now you're a part of it here at the University of Alabama. Tell us, first of all, how you got here. What was the start in terms of soccer for you, and how you got on this path?
Yeah, so I've been playing soccer since I've been 4 years old. Both my parents, my dad played in the NFL, and my mom played Division I soccer, and they both met in college. And so, like, soccer, we didn't really have much of a choice to play. But it was just been so fun. Like, I've played my whole life. I had Breezy, my sister, who's here at Alabama with me, and just the two of us together and our personalities and how competitive we are, we've definitely drove us to get to where we are today at such a high level. I trained at the Winter Circle, like we've talked about. Just being in that environment was so awesome. Just great preparation for college. And I played on the SoCal Blues, which is a high-level club. And so that has just been amazing. And then now I'm here and so excited for this season. And
Yeah, really great athletic background. I think people hear NFL, they kind of zero in on that with your dad.
Yeah.
But first of all, tell us about your mom. How good of a soccer player was she?
my mom was awesome, actually. It's kind of funny. She'll joke. But one of the dads on our team came up to her one day and was like, "Are you like, was your maiden name Doddridge?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I guess she scored a header goal against Hope Solo, which I don't know if you know much about Hope Solo, but she had very few goals scored on her, and my mom had a header on her. So we were like, "Okay, Mom, like maybe there is some legitimacy to what you're saying." But she's awesome. She's so fit, and like even till this day, she'll still run with us, and has not stopped working out. So it's been a great influence to look up to.
Yeah, it really taught you probably all the little skills, right?
Yeah. Even though we didn't want to listen at times, she's been super awesome.
That's really cool. And then you mentioned your dad as well, got to play San Jose State.
Yeah.
And then the NFL. What was his NFL experience like?
Yeah, so he played for the Chargers, Bengals, Redskins, and Falcons. He was drafted in the 3rd round, so he was 66 overall. And he had his fair share of injuries, so he would get back. And then, so he never was fully on a team. He played for I think he got cut, so he had to learn multiple different playbooks and things like that. So that was hard, but it was awesome. I think just even making it to that level says a ton. And I believe he started on a couple of the teams. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, he killed it.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did that impact you and Breezy, your whole family, kind of going on this athletics path and knowing what he saw at the highest level of the sport?
Yeah, it has been amazing having both of them as parents and leaders to look up to. They have definitely, just one of my dad's biggest things is he experienced a lot. So for him to know what he knows now, like we're kind of his do-over, he'll call it. So like anything that he did wrong, he makes sure that we do it right, like the nutrition, taking care of our bodies, like giving us opportunities that he didn't necessarily have. And just his mindset through it all, like they both walk the walk. So to have people to look up to who know what they're talking about and have got to the highest level has just been insane. And I really give it to him for getting us to where we are today.
It really has paid off. And, so many people would talk about that maybe late in high school or as they're starting college, talking about the nutrition, the weightlifting, all the little things you got to do to get ready to play and practice each day. But for you guys, it started, 6th grade?
Yeah, we've been going at it for as long as I can remember. I think I started lifting weights in 8th grade. But yeah, he's just it was awesome.
Did that become really a separator for you on the field compared to some players you were going up against in club?
For sure. I think being a part of the winter circle, just getting to train in that environment with a lot of kids who are not really like we were exposed to the weight room and just doing things like that. And now like we have the weight room in college and just having that background, I really think set us apart here. So we were just a lot more, I mean, just being more athletic and stronger and faster has really contributed to where we are today.
Yeah, Breezy mentioned you two were some of the only girls that were there at the winter
Yeah.
circle compared to all these, football guys that are probably now either in the SEC, top flight programs in college football, and probably even some to the NFL, right?
Yeah, we trained with a bunch of boys. Actually, Damani Jackson, he trained at the winter circle with us in Peyton Woodyard. He just transferred, but he was here last year too. And just going against high level D1 athletes who have made it to some amazing colleges is just an awesome environment to train against and definitely intimidating. I remember my first day walking in, I've never lifted a weight or anything, and there's just guys like with their shirts off, just like pumping ridiculous amounts of weights. And we're like, okay, now it's time. But yeah.
Yeah, he certainly got you ready. How cool is it to see those guys, first of all, Damani Payton, like you talked about here at Alabama?
Yeah, it's unreal just to have a familiar face and someone who, like, just to have someone that you know, like, came from home with you, and just to see where they are now and all the work that they've put in over the years that a lot of people don't get to see. Like, we saw him in the weight room day in and day out, just working hard, grinding, and to get to where he is just incredible. So it's so cool.
And they'll have a good impact on this year's team, it sounds like.
Yeah, he's going to kill it. I can't wait to watch him and excited to see all that he does this year.
That's really cool. So again, you're lifting weights in middle school, getting ready for your high school and club career. What made you such an elite player that colleges around the country, U.S. national team for different showcases, made you a top target for them? What do you think did that?
I definitely think, like you said, just my athletic background with my parents and them just giving us the right opportunities, getting us the trainers and putting us in the winter circle, just that separated us. And being able to train with, we had a private trainer, Mike Randolph. He played in the MLS. And just to have his experience to be able to train and work with one-on-one really just set us apart. And it was so cool. And to play on our team, the SoCal Blues, we're a very high-level team and girls who went all over the country and to high schools. So to be able to be in that practice environment day in and day out, just constantly competitive and hard work, and just a lot of late nights, early mornings on our own, and just grinding and just having a vision. Both my parents had a vision for us, and we really bought into it, and just took that next step. And like, we didn't go to high school, so we were just very serious. And my dad would always say, work now, play later. So we did the work, and we're still doing the work. Just excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. We heard from Breezy about what kind of motivation it was with you and being on the same team as she was playing up, and you're there every step of the way. But how about for you on the flip side? How motivating was it with Breezy kind of clipping at your heels the entire time?
Yeah.
How much did that improve your game?
I think I give her all the credit. She is an incredible athlete, an incredible work rate. And just like you said, to have someone who's just right there on my tail the whole time, it really drives you, because I'm like, she was always like, she can't be better than me. And I'm like, well, she can't be better than me. And so we were beyond competitive, and just to train with one another. And even like, if she would go for a run, I'm going for a run. If not, if she finds out I ran a mile, she's going to go run 2 miles. So just constantly having that, someone who's able to keep you accountable. And just like you said, know that they're coming fast and strong and they have the same goals as you, has just been awesome.
How much has that carried over here?
It's been incredible. I think I love having her here, because I was here for a year by myself, and it was awesome. But just having your sister with you to be a part of the process, and someone who really knows you and knows how you can need encouragement or what you need in that moment, or just to know what you're truly capable of, and just remind you of that, and your goals, and just even someone just to be hard on you and tell you what you need to hear. Because sometimes people are just like, oh, you're okay. And Bree's like, get over yourself. Like, let's go. Like, you're fine. So just to have someone who's honest and awesome. Yeah.
That's the pro mindset right there,
Yeah.
right? Well, that's certainly good, and we're certainly glad you guys are both at Alabama. Oh, but of course, as the older one, you were the one that was hearing from colleges first and starting to get some attention. When did Alabama get on your radar?
So Alabama came on my radar. So I like soccer is a lot different than football. A lot of it is you advocating for yourself and emailing the coaches, just sending out film and things like that. So I would email tons of schools, and I emailed Alabama, and they got back to me rather quickly. And they saw my highlight tape, and they were pretty much on a plane to see me the next 2 days. They flew out to watch Surf Cup, and I was on a phone call with them later that night. So it just all took off really fast. And I didn't think much of it. I think I told Breezy after I got off the phone with Wes Hart, I was like, Breezy, I think I'm going to go to Alabama. And she's like, no, you're not. Like, what? Alabama? Like, we're from California, so that is a very big difference. But I was like, I don't know. Like, I really think so. And then I came out here on an official visit, and just seeing the facilities, seeing all the resources that we have, it's kind of hard to say no to. And yeah, ever since Alabama came into the picture, none of the schools really mattered, to be honest with you.
That's really good to see. What else did you like about Coach Hart's message? Because, yeah, the facilities can be great. Fan support, that's all good. But
Yeah.
in terms of your role in the team, how you can fit in, what did he tell you?
Like he said, he's never going to promise anything. But I do think that just the team culture that he has created and just the success that he has had coming from building up a program, I think I really bought into that and I believed in that, and I found it really exciting to know that we haven't yet won a national championship, and that is a goal I have in mind, and to know that I can contribute to that was super exciting. I want to be a part of the reason why we win a college cup or win the national championship. So that was really exciting to me. And
who were some of the first Alabama players you got to know during the recruitment process or once you made your decision to sign here?
Felicia Knox was my host on my official visit. Riley Madeline Parker was just such a character. She was incredible. I got to know a lot of the older girls, the successful team of 22. I think I came out 3 times before, and just to see them and to be a part. I wasn't a part, but just to watch their successful season was insane. I felt like I was a part of it, and just to see all the hard work that they had done and how successful they had been, it was just so cool to see everything just come together. And so I'm excited for that this year as well.
Yeah, would you and your family make plans to watch Alabama's games that
Yes,
year? And as the season went, you get deeper in the NCAA tournament. That had to be more fun each time.
Yeah, it was definitely we had a big watch party as our family. Whenever Alabama played, we knew everyone was going to be there. We put the TV on, we had dinner and everything. And just to watch that season as a whole was incredible. It was we felt like we were a part of it. We were truly invested. And to see how much success they had and the grit and how much people didn't believe in them, and to see them continue to prove people wrong was incredible. So
and then it wasn't long after that season ended, you came here, right?
Yes, I was here I graduated a semester early, so I was here in that next spring. So it was cool to come off that and to make an impact and be a part of the team and get my college process started.
Yeah, you get to start going to school here, get that crimson jersey. We didn't see you on the field this last fall. We understand you've gone through some injuries. So how would you describe your time in Tuscaloosa so far trying to get back onto the field?
Yeah, my time in Tuscaloosa has definitely been a lot different than I think I have expected it to be. By no means did I think I was going to get here. And I believe I tore my labrum in my hip my second spring game against Ole Miss. So it's just if you would have told me that's what would have happened, I would have never believed you. But I think it was honestly beautiful in the grand scheme of things to see all that, because I think a lot of my identity and worth was in who I was as a soccer player. And now to be able to sit back the past year and to go through a season and just really, I think it was honestly a beautiful thing being able to be a part of the team, but in a different way and have a different role, and to be the best teammate I could be, and just trying to improve every day. I know going to rehab, it's definitely been challenging and hard, but I've made amazing relationships here, and I don't think I would be as successful as I have with my rehab if it wasn't for the relationships that I've made and the support staff that we have here. So it's been really cool to be a part of, and now I'm excited to be at the end of that and make an impact this year.
So a lot of time for you, again, rehabbing, coming back from that injury. Was it affecting you last spring as well?
Yes, I was still coming back from my injury. It's been quite the process with a lot of setbacks. Just with my hip, it hasn't been the smoothest recovery, but definitely getting better every day. And now my hip is a non-issue. Like, it doesn't bother me at all. So that's been super exciting. Just crazy.
So now with hopefully, again, all that in the rearview mirror,
Yeah.
how do you hope you can impact this team from the start?
Yeah, I think my role is definitely going to be slightly different than I would have hoped for and thought. Just like I said, being the best teammate I can be, controlling what I can control, making an impact every day in practice, even though like I'm not a starter right now. I don't think I was going to be right in the start, but just understanding that it's a process and that is a goal of mine towards the middle of the season. And I understand it's a very long season and anything can happen. And I know that I'm just going to work hard every single day. And so just like, I think me working hard and controlling what I can control can rub off on other players who are playing 90 minutes and not necessarily feeling it that day, but just my energy that I can bring to the practice and my, like I said, just being a good teammate on the field and encouraging and cheering for players. So yeah, I think just controlling what I can control.
Yeah, we talked about this backline before. I mean, that's been the identity of this program really
Yeah.
the last few years. And you got to love having teammates like Brooke Steer, Jessica Skorka, who have played before back there. Just how much energy do they bring and how good can this defense be?
I think our defense is insane. We have a ton of amazing talent and young talent, and I think we're all excited this year. And like you said, we have girls who have been on the team who have done it before, and just knowing their experience, and we believe in them, we trust in them, and just I think we're going to be pretty unstoppable this year with the new talent that we have, and like you said, the old talent that we have as well. So it's going to be exciting.
And it seems like you guys have bonded really well together.
Yeah.
We joked with Coach Hart in an interview about he's kind of the new Nick Saban, taking players out on his boats, trying to
Yeah.
flip them off inner tubes and stuff like that. How much fun has that kind of bonding time been around the start of the season?
It's been incredible. And like I said, that was one of the reasons why I came to Alabama, was just the family environment that this team truly is. Like Wes, he doesn't just treat us as players, we're people as well. And him bringing us to his lake house and just giving us opportunities to be together as a team and spend quality time has been so fun. And his lake house is amazing and his boat is so fun, and he'll cook such great food for us, and we just eat so well when we're there. And we've made amazing relationships. Like, I love every single girl on this team and truly feel so close to them. And so I think that's going to take us a long way this season. It's just our chemistry among one another.
It's really good to see. So you've been here on campus since January 2023. That's a lot of time in the classroom. What's your focus been academically for a life after soccer one day?
Yeah. So I declared my major to be a business major. So just taking those classes, and just I feel like business is something that you can use all around. And one of my goals of mine is to start a foundation for the children of NFL players with CTE. So hopefully using that in some way. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it, but just to have that background from the University of Alabama and have a business degree is just unreal. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, and I also have dreams of playing professional soccer after college. So we'll see where it goes.
You mentioned the idea for the foundation. How much is that influenced by your dad and what he went through in football?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is because influenced by him, and I've just seen what he's gone through and what other families have gone through as well. And it motivates me and inspires me to make a change and make a difference, because I think a lot of times I wish that I had a resource or someone because I feel like a lot of times with the NFL, it's kind of like CT is kind of a hush-hush, but it's real and I've seen it. And so I just want to bring awareness to it and help in any way that I can.
That's really good. And again, something great in his legacy. And again, we keep talking about family, especially with Breezy on this team.
Yeah.
What do you feel like her season is going to look like in her first year of collegiate soccer?
I'm so excited for her. I think she's going to kill it. She is a phenomenal athlete who has been working so hard. And I think for her to come here and just to get that recognition that she deserves is going to be so exciting. And I think just to see her impact on the team, like, she brings so much energy onto the field. She has this cockiness when you play. You could just feel it. Like, even when I'm going against her, it's like, oh gosh, like, she's coming. She's ready. She's been ready for this moment for since we've been a little girl. So I'm so excited for her to experience this, and for me to be with her alongside is unreal. I couldn't ask for much more.
Now, she said, why Alabama the first time you brought it up? Did you think she would head here, or did you think she would go another school at first?
I think she was very hesitant at first. She always has wanted to do her own thing, and just the younger sister wants to just get that acknowledgement, like just be her own person. But we are insanely close and have a pretty unbreakable bond. So I knew deep down that she was going to come wherever I came, because even though she jokes and like whatever, I know she loves me so much and respects me and all these things. And I just couldn't imagine doing it without her, and I don't think she could either.
And your parents couldn't either.
Yeah.
Now to the point they're here, right?
Yeah, they actually moved all the way across country to be here. They're on Lake Tuscaloosa now. And so just to have, like you said, like part of being at Alabama is such a family, and now to have my family here too, and just for them to be at the games and to be a part of this is so fun. Like they're close enough but also far enough away where I can see them if I want to. If I don't necessarily want to, they respect it, give me my space, and so they're super understanding of everything. And it's been so good having them here.
Absolutely. Well, it's good to have you here with the
Yeah.
Alabama soccer team. Cali Brewer, just thank you so much for the time you've given us here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. We're thrilled. The rehab's behind you now. We can't
Yeah.
wait to see you on the field. But thank you for your time. Roll Tide.
Thank you so much. Roll Tide.
This is what being a NASCAR fan is all about.
Gets the win at Talladega.
Singular history and tradition. And triple header playoffs action to ratchet up the stakes. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
We continue on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, with more soccer conversation. Great one-on-one there with Cali Brewer. We recorded that, of course, at the Advantage Center at Bryant-Denny Stadium, but we went to the Alabama Soccer Stadium prior to practice and got to catch up with a few members of the squad, including Wes Hart. That interview we had last week, the head coach of the Crimson Tide. This week, we hear from the returning leading goal scorer for Alabama, Gianna, who last year as a sophomore had 8 goals for Alabama. We know she's going to be one of the top goal-scoring threats this season, not only for the Crimson Tide, but in the SEC. We catch up with Gianna as Alabama soccer gets ready to start the 2024 season.
At the Alabama Soccer Stadium, I'm Roger Hoover, now pleased to be joined by, what is it now, a junior Gianna Paul?
Oh my God, I'm so old.
Time's
I am
flying,
a
isn't it?
junior, Yeah. I feel like I was just here for the first time yesterday, and I'm literally going to my 3rd season of soccer. It's crazy. I'm like we need to go back in time. I feel too old.
Well, you've had a lot of good moments wearing the Crimson Tide jersey. What has you most excited about this time of the year, getting to start this new journey with your teammates?
Oh my goodness. I'm always excited around this time of year, but with this team, I just feel like, for some reason, I was talking to my mom about it like a while ago, but like this year just feels like special for me. I think last year we were coming off the high of the Final Four, and I think that was in the back of our heads, but I think this year is like a fresh start. We have a lot of good returners, and we have amazing freshmen coming in and transfers. I think we're set up for success this year.
So with all the newcomers, like you mentioned, great freshman class, some transfers in, how do you build the chemistry? Did spring really help with that, and then the work you put in the summer?
Spring helped a lot. I wasn't on the field during spring, but I could see everything from the sidelines that was going on, the team bonding, the camaraderie. It already feels like it's coming all the way back. But everyone's been amazing. I mean, we do team bonding stuff outside of soccer. We're always bonding while we're playing. We're together pretty much 24/7. So I think the chemistry really has been growing every single practice. It just gets better.
Now getting ready for an exhibition this week against LSU. The season's starting after that. What do you feel like is going to be your role on this team this year?
I think my role definitely, as compared to like previous years, is going to be a little more leadership. I think coming in as like an upperclassman this year as compared to like my underclassmen years, I think there is that expectation considering what we did in the past and what I've done in the past. But I think the role never changes. I think I just show up every day and work my butt off, and everyone does the same exact thing.
We know a lot of defenses are going to be keying in on you, but who are some other options around you that are going to be dangerous around the goal and can score for Alabama?
I think Maddie Podolsky, our freshman, just came in from fresh off her high school year. She's amazing. I think she's super talented, and I think we're going to work really well together with drawing attention away from each other. I think she's very talented, very quick on the ball, super smart, super high soccer IQ. I think she's going to be great.
And then on the defensive side of the ball, do you still feel like hunt the ball is the main message that Coach Hart preaches every day?
It always is. It always is. That message has never changed. It's on our wall inside for a reason. It's really what we believe in, our high press mentality, our very quick to the ball after we lose it mentality. I think that is what wins us a lot of games, scores us a lot of goals high up the field.
What's going to be most important for you this season?
I think just approaching every single game the exact same way is going to be important. I think when we look ahead to the future, to our SEC matchups and all that crazy stuff at the end of the year, it kind of gets us distracted. But I think approaching every single game day to day, like, hey, this is our next battle, we're going to win this battle, I think that's going to be huge for us.
Does that make you even more excited about some of these early non-conference matchups before you get to SEC play as this team kind of learns how to play together?
Oh, I'm super excited. Non-conference is always fun. I always love non-conference. I think conference is like super fun for the rivalries, but we have some good non-conference matchups, and I think those are going to be huge for us too.
Well, Gianna, Paul, we can't wait to see you in the Crimson Tide on the soccer pitch this season. Just thank you for your time with us today. Roll Tide.
Thank you so much. Roll Tide.
Crimson Drive is driven by NASCAR, and NASCAR's biggest and baddest track is back. Don't miss out on a weekend full of NASCAR playoffs action this fall. Racing returning to Talladega Superspeedway, October 4th through the 6th. Purchase your tickets today at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Last night was the start of Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show, live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill here in Tuscaloosa. And yes, last night on Wednesday. Of course, you've been used to it the last few years. Hey Coach and the Nick Saban Show on Thursdays. But now it has moved to Wednesday night starting at 6 o'clock. And the very first guest of the year was not the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Kalen DeBoer, but the director of athletics for the University of Alabama, Greg Byrne, as he had a conversation with our host, Chris Stewart, as well as Dan Waters, the track coach and the cross-country coach, as well as Jeff Allen, who leads sports medicine efforts for the University of Alabama. So 3 great conversations last night, but here today on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we wanted to take a look back to Greg Byrne's appearance with Chris Stewart on the first edition of Hey Coach this season.
Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, my friend.
Interesting few months for you. No big deal. Just got to replace the best coach in this era of college football, and less than a week later, you got your guy in place. Nicely done. Well, I know it's constant since then.
Yeah, I tell you, we obviously have an incredible program to go hire people to, right? And President Bell, our trustees, our fan base, Coach Saban, and Miss Terry, they put us in the best possible position to go out and really be an attractive place for somebody to come to. And obviously, since the day, I remember the day I was hired, probably got asked about 9,000 times, what's it feel like to be the guy that's going to hire Nick Saban's replacement? The answer was really easy. We're going to kick that can down the road as far as we can. And we did. Yeah. And when Coach and I were talking, he retired on Wednesday, and we had a long talk on Tuesday beforehand. And, obviously he knew we didn't want him to retire, but he also deserved the right to retire.
Sure.
And so, we rarely would ever talk about that subject, but we did occasionally. And, at some point on that Tuesday, I said to him, Coach, I know you'd be disappointed in me if we weren't prepared. And just like Coach Saban, you'd think he'd respond, he did. He's like, absolutely. And obviously, I studied when John Wooden retired. I studied when Bear Bryant retired. Pat Summitt. I mean, you look at some of the iconic coaches in our industry, and so what could we learn from those things? And then you complicate it with the transfer portal and NIL,
right,
and different dynamics that were, it's so much of it's uncontrolled. And so one of the things I knew we had to do is we had to keep the roster together. And so much of our focus was what can we do to have that be the case. And when Coach told the team he was retiring, because it was so important to him that he wanted the team to hear it first, as they should. And so I followed up on the stage right after Coach Saban made the announcement to the team. And I said to the team, I said, you got to give me 72 hours. You got to give me that. And I knew I was going to have to get to Seattle, because even though I hadn't had any conversations, I knew that was going to happen. And or I wanted it to happen, I should say.
Right.
And so I pulled out the leadership from the team, got them and said, you're going to hold the locker room together. We had a few key staff members that are still here today. And we said, we're going to make sure, Alabama's not changing who they are. We obviously have an impact that you can never describe by what the Sabans have meant to our university, right? And so, but the standard that he had set, that is going to continue.
Right.
And we're going to get somebody who's going to care about you as a football player, but more importantly as a person, just as much as Coach Saban and Miss Terry did as well. And I can tell you the next day, Regina and I were in Seattle, and right away when we sat down with Kalen and Nicole, it's like, and I said at the press conference, would I want my son to play for the coach? They better be a great coach. They better be a great recruiter, all the different things. But we're Alabama. We should be able to hire really good people. Yeah. And we hired a really good person and a heck of a coach, and somebody that's extremely respectful of what the University of Alabama represents, somebody that's very respectful of what Coach Saban and Ms. Terry represent, and then also somebody that's confident in who they are as a coach too. And I think it was important to hopefully be able to check all three of those boxes and feel good about where we are.
To me, the most amazing thing in watching all of this play out, albeit somewhat close and yet still from a distance, the fact that you've been able to bring in a guy of his quality. You've been able to keep Nick Saban still at home. He's still got an office
Which is
here.
really important.
It's extremely important,
yeah.
I know. And at the same time, he's not looking over Kalen DeBoer's shoulder, nor is he deferring to Coach Saban in terms of, hey, you want to still run this.
Right.
They're their own men.
Yep.
They've got their own spaces on campus. I know they've had some interaction.
Quite a bit, yes.
And it's been family.
Yep.
As far as Alabama is concerned, that's been an amazing thing to watch in 6-7 months' time.
Well, and I felt it was really important. I don't mean to say the word I, but it was really important for our program to make sure there's unity going forward. We had to have that. And Coach Saban and Ms. Terry have been critical in allowing that to happen, the way they've handled it. And at the same time, too, Coach DeBoer and Nicole have been great about it as well. Right. And to mesh those two together to where our fan base feels like, hey, we are all in this thing together. There is a change in leadership. You cannot deny that. There will be some things that are different, not to just be different, but because that's the way Coach DeBoer feels like he wants to run the program. But that's okay. And then let's get through this and move this great university, this great football program, athletic department forward for the next, decade and beyond. And it just says a lot about, we all knew how great Coach Saban was, but it's a remarkable part about his leadership now that he wants to see Coach DeBoer do great. And that's not always the case, right, with coaching transitions. And again, you can't give enough credit to both sides to have this continue to go forward, because we should, the best athletic departments in the country honor their past, create vision for the future, but also are very focused on today. And it has to be all three of those things. And you'll never be, I spoke to a group yesterday and they asked me about leadership. And I said, as a leader, one of the things you have to accept is you can't be all things to all people. You're not going to be able to keep everybody happy at all times. You want people to feel good. You want them to feel like they're important, because they are. But sometimes we all have our own self-interest, right? We have the lens as a fan. We have the lens as a coach. We have a lens as a student athlete. And sometimes those desires, those wants are different. But at the end of the day, if you feel like you're making the right decision for the program, for the university, for your kids, and be sensitive to what the fans think too, I think you got your best chance of having success.
People, I know, is your first priority, but in your role, facilities come pretty closely behind that, because it does affect people. Sure. So let's talk about basketball and what's on the horizon there.
So we've been fortunate. Our donors have been really good. We've been able to raise a lot of money, focus on the arena. I've talked about the increased cost. I don't need to talk a lot about that anymore. But what the end of the day, as Nate and I have talked, and also Christy Curry, day to day, for a coach, their classroom is the court, right? It's the lab, and so what we're doing is we're taking the first step, because what we've talked about for an arena is a competition-only arena. Well, we need to address the practice side of it, and we need to address it for both programs. So we're building a new practice facility just off of Coleman Coliseum. So eventually with Coleman, no matter what happens to it long term, we will have this separate facility. We'll have a new court for the men. The women are going to take over where the men have been. We're doing first-class, nice locker rooms day to day. When recruits walk into this place, it'll be as good a setup as anybody has from a basketball development standpoint. And that's one of the things that's a big selling piece for both of our programs, but especially with what Nate has done to develop young men. All you got to look at Herb Jones.
Sure.
Right? What that guy, and Herb was one of the guys when we went through the transition to Nate. I said, Herb, you need to be a part of the leadership to keep this thing together, and we're going to get somebody who's going to develop who you are. And now Herb Jones, who wouldn't shoot outside the key, right, is now shooting three-pointers and making them in the NBA on a regular basis. And a lot of that is because of the way of the culture with the program with Nate, just getting in the gym. And so the facilities are important parts. A big step. We've already got a couple stages of the approval process done through the Board of Trustees. I was actually in a design meeting about it just the other day. And if you go over to the Coleman parking lot, the big one right next to it on the east side, you're seeing a lot of the dig-outs already starting to happen from an electrical standpoint. So a lot of the process is already starting.
We could spend the full hour and a half with you about everything that's going on, and great coaches, student athletes, facilities also. But one of the newest is not too far from opening in terms of the new golf facility as well, which is fantastic, with the guys that have come through J.C. Wells' program doing what they're doing and have for years. Now we got a new guy, Nick Dunlap, that's doing phenomenal things as well. It's really special to have a facility that is as good as any in America, and frankly, it's going to be the standard for everything in America.
It is, and we have had some donors be very generous to make this project a reality. And it was, I'll tell you, I had a friend of mine who's a college golf coach, has won a national championship at another school. I've been friends with him for a long time, and they announced their new clubhouse on like a Monday. Yeah. And I called him. I said, "Hey, man, I'm happy for you. You've been working on this for a long time, and I mean, it's nice."
Sure.
And so at Thursday we were going to announce our deal, and so I didn't say a thing about it. We announced our deal, and I get this text from my friend on Thursday. I said, I think I could say this on the radio. I said, "Damn, Byrne." and I was like, and now that you're seeing it become a reality, we just signed the #1 golf class in the country for the men's team. Mick Potter's had a lot of success with the women's team, won a national championship before, and we're hoping that will continue to rise, have the opportunity for that program to continue to get better. But the kids are excited. And actually, the very first recruit I ever showed the plans to was a guy named Nick Dunlap. He was wavering at the end. Other schools were criticizing us on our infrastructure and development standpoint from a golf standing. And J.C. Well called me and said, "Greg, is there any chance, is it far enough we could show a recruit?" And I said, "Yeah, bring him in." And so I showed it to Nick Dunlap, and certainly that certainly helped seal the deal. And now he won't ever be on the team when we actually play in it, but he'll be back here to practice in it quite a bit.
He can write a check if he wants to. You'll accept that.
He's doing all right. Yeah, he's doing all right.
He's doing okay. I'm amazed at the job all of our student athletes are doing to make the program as impressive in the classroom as they are in the field of competition.
It starts with the work ethic of the kids in the classroom, but we have great academic support from everybody. Mike Ward runs our academics for us, does an incredible job. Our APR, we're often leading, which is academic performance rate. We're often leading the SEC in overall academic performance. Our GPAs, we're over 3.0 as a department. We have a great diversity in the type of degrees kids are getting. I was just talking to a football player who's a biology major. And so kids are in here getting good degrees, developing who they are for the future. And listen, there have been a lot, there are challenges with NIL, right? And we could talk about that for a whole show as far as what's taking place in the legal landscape of college athletics right now. I talk to attorneys every day, all day long. But at the end of the day, we cannot forget we are the University of Alabama. This is college athletics. There has to be a belief in what academics means to the future of young people. And that's really important, and I'm really proud of the effort of our coaches, our staff, and most importantly, our kids. And we also have a great partnership with our campus. You go to a lot of college campuses, and sometimes the academics and athletics don't always, jihad together, so to speak.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all working together here, and we all understand that it's good for the young people in our program. It's good for our university and our community, and I'm proud of what we're doing academically, and it's a group effort to make it happen.
That was Hey Coach last night. Our next show on the network will be Hey Coach, coming up next Wednesday, coming up at 6 p.m. Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. We look forward to that. And then, of course, we'll be back with you next Thursday for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Still talking more football and soccer, as, of course, the soccer season starts tonight. We're getting closer to the start of football season. Then the week after that, we will transition the show to both Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 o'clock to get you ready for Crimson Tide football. Special thanks to Ethan Carabin, our video producer, who put all of this show together. Thanks as well to all the guests that we've had. Not only Greg Byrne joining Chris Stewart last night for Hey Coach, but also Gianna Paul, Cali Brewer from Alabama Soccer, as well as Malachi Moore joining us at the beginning of the show to talk Crimson Tide football. If you missed any of these episodes, of course, you can go back, any of the interviews, you can go back and watch on this stream, as well as individual clips on YouTube as well with the one-on-one conversations that we had this week. And if you would like to listen to these interviews in podcast style, make sure you check out the Alabama Insider podcast wherever you download your podcasts. But that's going to do it for this week of Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR. Best of luck to the Crimson Tide soccer team starting its season tonight, and we will talk to you again coming up next week here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. From Tuscaloosa, I'm Roger Hoover saying thanks for watching and Roll Tide.